This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How are you doing, Jason Glick?
I'm doing just fine, John. How about you?
Fantastic. I saw a great movie this weekend. I just wanted to say, Django Unchained. Everyone go see it. That's all I have to say.
Yes, thoroughly entertaining. Maybe not Quentin Tarantino's absolute best, but certainly one of his most purely entertaining.
Absolutely entertaining. Yes. You know, I laughed, I cried, I laughed again, I laughed some more. It's not a comedy. He just has a way of making you laugh. So anyways, what?
Yeah, and if you really like, I guess you always go and buy the comic book that DC's adapting it into.
Oh, well, there you go. Here's a little tie-in. Speaking of comic books, what exactly do you have on store for us tonight?
Well, it's that. Well, see, since it's getting to late January, it's time to finally offer up the wrap up of the past year. We're talking about the best and worst of 2012 here at Comic Picks by the Glick. So, yeah, it's like, I mean, not everyone knows. Like, I read a metric fuck ton of comics over the year, and so it's it's genuinely difficult to trying to whittle things down into the stuff that impressed me the most. Now, granted, I mean, like there's stuff that's constantly that's still ongoing. Stuff like Blade of the Immortal, 20th Century Boys, Fables, Walking Dead, that continuously impresses me year in and year out. But it's like, except for certain cases, it's like I always want to focus on the stuff that that stands out. Stuff that really hits like a hot, that goes out in the high. Hits a great beginning, or transitions into that the great series that you always knew it could be. So that's kind of what I focus on here. And generally, naturally, any given year, Blade of the Immortal is gonna top any list because it's that fucking awesome. But not for much longer anyway. And while I was all set to anoint 20th Century Boys as the year's best comic, that didn't happen because Viz decided to for their clockwork release of the series apparently hit a hitch for the two volume epilogue 21st Century Boys, which is only reaching us just now. And it's like, and it could still be my favorite series for 2013, but it's got some issues it needs to overcome that I should go and talk more in depth about, either in its own podcast or writing up first volume of 21st Century Boys when it comes up. But anyway, here we are. Talk about the 10 best of this past year. And let me tell you, before I begin, I swear to you all, Uncanny X-Force, the Dark Angel Saga, yes, I know that it came out is in 2011, but it didn't reach me in softcover until this year. We have coming off by Takeshi Obata and Tsugumi Oba. Bakuman is a story of two creators and two aspiring manga, not really aspiring manga creators at this point, but two kids who start out in high school with the goal of creating great manga, and they go and pitch their ideas to Jump, and they wind up becoming successful creators there. But it's only been this year that they finally managed to achieve what real mainstream success with their series Perfect Crime Party, and now they're apparently trying to transcend that and create their definitive great work that that they're going to, because this is a Shonen Jump series, and they're always going to be about being the best there is at anything. Now, to be fair, Bakuman does have some of the most dire, boring romantic subplots in the series, but where it succeeds is bringing and showing you a new aspect of manga creation, in each volume. Each volume always brings something new to the table, whether it's how to properly work with your editor, how to shape your series into being the best that it can be. Dealing with public reaction. Dealing with creators, fans who are inspired to be creators by you, and also and also just dealing with editorial demands, all this crazy stuff. It consistently brings something new to each volume, and that's why I love seeing about it. I mean, and also just the sheer frequency at which it was delivered, because it was monthly for the last half of the year, and you can do stuff like that when your series is wrapped up in Japan. Granted, that doesn't seem to have held through this year, but still, it was, like I said, consistently brought something new each volume gave us something new and interesting to look forward to with each installment. Now, number 9 though, Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine. Now, like Marvel uses lots of good superhero comics, but generally very few great ones. And even then, it's like whenever it tries to bring it, usually like the good stuff really just kind of creeps up on you from the side, like Mark Waid's Daredevil. And it really hits you from front on, like whenever they do a big event. It rarely reached, like the best one they did I read this year was probably X-Men Schism with Uncanny. Well, no, if we're talking about actual events, not actual storylines. But as far as event series go, Schism was great. Avengers vs. X-Men, not so much. Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine, though, it's like this is the kind of story that if all mainstream superhero comics were as good, they would still be dominating the sales charts and just and saving off talk that of the inevitable decline of Marvel and DC, because it's coming. Because not every comic is as good as Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine. Because what's it about? It's just Spider-Man and Wolverine. It starts out at the end of time, and and then with the two just stuck there for reasons unknown before a meteor shows up and then they're thrown into the far future where they're in a crazy post-apocalyptic environment with Devil Dinosaur, and then it just gets crazier and crazier from there as we get such crazy stuff as Wolverine inventing beer, Spider-Man being a teacher to kids in the far future, Wolverine dying, achieving inner peace before being brought back to life by Spider-Man, and it's also like Doom, the Living Planet, a gun that shoots the Phoenix Force, time traveling thugs, and Spider-Man movement just becoming a cowboy and Indian as well. I mean, it's got all sorts of crazy stuff from writer Jason Aaron, who this isn't the last time you'll see him on this list, and artist Adam Kubert, who's working at the absolute top of his game right here. It's great, insane, crazy superhero stuff that even manages this nice swerve at the end. That actually manages to tie in some sort of meaning to all the craziness. And it's also relatively continuity light. All you need to know is that Spider-Man's no longer married to Mary Jane, and which is why he's free to hit on other girls in this story. But overall, it's hands down the best thing I read from Marvel this year, and definitely. And it's not the best superhero series I read. That'll be coming in a bit. It's still it still gives me hope that we'll see more stuff like this later on, especially from Aaron. Now, moving up the list to number 8. We have series that I've not been as enthused about in the past, but in the last couple of volumes, it's really come into its own, in my opinion. That would be Hellboy, and we've got volume 12 here with the Storm and the Fury. This collects the 2 miniseries that basically represent the climax of Mignola's collaborations with artist Duncan Fegredo, and it is a watershed moment here, basically showing Hellboy's conflict with the witch Nimue, moving to the next stage of his conflict with the Ogdru Jihad, and also showing you into context, what is at stake here between him, the BP, and the fight between him, the BPRD against the old gods that are now coming back to take Earth as their own, and it ends with, well, let's just say that to say that, it's not a spoiler to say that Hellboy dies, because the next story is Hellboy in Hell, but it's a great tragic epic moment, in an epic series as well, that also features the return of the true King of England to lay the smackdown on the bad guys. It's for years though, Hellboy seemed to be stuck in Hellboy stories seem to be stuck in a circle, ending in the circle of someone showing up to say, Hellboy, oh, you're the beast of the apocalypse, you've got to, you're gonna fulfill your destiny or some such, and then Hellboy punching him in the face saying, screw you, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. This shows you that this is Mignola and company moving beyond that right here into something much different. I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing where it goes from there. Now, and And it's also one of the few Hellboy stories that doesn't involve Nazis as well. What does involve Nazis, though, was my number 7 pick. That would be Osamu Tezuka's Message to Adolf. It's like, yes, I mentioned earlier that it's like Tezuka can lay it on a bit thick here, and there's a lot of melodrama here. But the overall message of the story about three people named Adolf. Yes, there's Adolf Hitler. There's also Adolf, the Japanese German kid Adolf Kaufman, and and the Jewish kid living in Japan, Adolf Kamil. Their relationship and how their paths intertwine and intersect throughout World War II, and just the general message of the virus it is hate, and how it can take root in in anyone's mind given the right circumstances, and perpetuate itself throughout the years. On many levels it's a tragedy. It's also a compelling political read this year, since Tezuka throws in a subplot about the true Hitler's true genealogy, and the efforts that everyone goes to try and get their hands on Hebrew to prove that he has Jewish blood in him as well. It's not Tezuka's absolute best, but it's certainly one of his better works, and continues to show ample reason why his nickname is the God of Manga. Meanwhile, moving back to Gods of American Comics, we have Garth Ennis, who for me provides one of the most consistently entertaining writers. And even though he has a few he's got a lot of things that he comes back to in his works, just a love of the military, disdain of superheroes, British guys who are completely badass, and somewhat nebbish guys who eventually show their true worth. All that stuff is present in his latest series, The Boys. And while yes, it is truly filthy, truly disgusting, it doesn't change the fact that the 3 volumes of it we got this year, Butcher Baker Candlestick Maker, Over the Hill with the Swords of 1,000 Men, and The Bloody Doors Off, were all payoff to all these years of build up. It's like a build up in drama, with the series. It showed you that Ennis was really playing the long game here. That he basically had this series planned out almost from the very beginning, and to see him see its culmination, to see how all this stuff finally plays out in the course of the story. It's brutal, brilliant stuff, and shows you why Ennis is truly one of the best writers we have working in comics today. There's a reason I'm an Ellis completist, but I'm also an Ennis completist as well. Because even though The Boys is easily the least of his 4 ongoing series, the others are being Preacher, Punisher Max, and Hitman, there's still plenty of stuff that I can say about it to recommend, and say that it's still worth your time. Okay. Another series that also gave us a lot of good payoff this year was Joe Hill's Lock and Key. I haven't gotten the first 2 volumes this year, but I didn't really get into it until I got volumes 3 and 4, and I've gotten sucked even further into the story of the Locke family and their the keys that circle around their estate. Joe Hill tells a great, compelling supernatural mystery that also has lots of memorable, well-defined characters, and a villain who's equal parts truly sublimely malicious, but also tragic in the way that he's also a pawn of the real evil force, Lovecraftian force behind all this. But however, Volume 5 delved into the backstory of the of the Locke family, and showed you just, what the previous generation was up to, with all the keys, and just how things spiraled into the present. It was great, compelling payoff to years of build up, and and it also sets things up for the climax in Omega, which is being serialized right now, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I can almost say that yes, you can expect to see me talk about the series again next year once I get that final volume, because like everything that's set up here, oh, so good. Oh man, great compelling stuff. Yeah. Also equal parts disturbing and compelling is my number 4 pick. That would be Durf's My Friend Dahmer. Now, in case you missed me talking on my review of this is the stranger than truth story about Durf's not his real name. His real name's John, but he just goes by the pen name of Durf. But Mr. Backdurf, he actually went to high school with Jeffrey Dahmer, and in this graphic novel is his meticulously researched story that not only tells you his experiences with Dahmer, who was just this crazy spastic kid in his high school, just like the one you would you joke about him becoming a serial killer, but nah, this stuff doesn't happen. Combined with his but also he also goes and researches all the news articles and interviews about Dahmer to give you like a fully realized portrait of the individual at in his high school years. I mean, tragic thing is, I mean, like his high school years were for a good amount of time like the happiest times in his life, and this is also even when the author, who he and several of his friends were members of the Dahmer fan club, and how they just kind of encourage this crazy spastic behavior. But to me, for me, the best part of the book, the most telling thing about it, is the epilogue where his wife calls him and tells him that one of the people you went to school with, he's been arrested, and he's like who was it? Was it Fig? She's like, no. It's like, was it Dahmer? Yes. It's like Dahmer was his second choice. I mean, that gets me every single time. He should have. I swear to God, he should have put that first, just to let you know that Dahmer was never his first choice for being the serial killer. But that's how it turned out. Like I said, stranger than fiction, but thoroughly compelling. It nonetheless. Then there's also fiction that is just plain strange, beautiful because of it. This is my number 3 pick. The Manhattan Project's Volume 1, Science, Bad, by Jonathan Hickman with art by Nick Pitara. Now, let me just put this into context by saying that there's always a point in movies or fiction or books or any kind of fiction where you get the scientist guy starts talking about his stuff, and you'll think, oh, this is just bad, man. This is gonna ruin worlds. People are gonna die because of this. Manhattan Projects basically basically takes that kind of thinking and just goes, yeah, we're going to start from the scientists doing all this crazy shit, and we know it's going to turn out bad. And we're just going to go run with it right to the end. And the beautiful part is that it gives us all these great twisted versions of a famous scientist, such as Albert Einstein, who is not quite the genius you think he is for reasons which you'll find out soon. Joseph Oppenheimer. Who let's just say that he also found out about his brother, who let's say his brother's got problems, and Richard Feynman, who probably takes more cues than he should from Dr. Stuart Smalley, Werner von Braun, who's got a robot arm, and also their general who's leading the Manhattan Projects into all this crazy scientific stuff. It's basically just scientific pursuit of science, just with all the brakes and the safeties thrown off, and it was just and it's also a great showcase for Hickman's imagination. That's how all the crazy stuff he cooks up here. It's he's also got a ongoing story here. It's they go off to space, they commit genocide, and hey, that's only the tip of the iceberg here. It's only gonna be weirder and wilder from here on out, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Now, I said earlier that Jason Aaron, this is the first last you'd hear him on this podcast, and hey, here we go. It's like you probably all saw this coming. My number 2 pick, Scalped by Aaron Armguera and a host of other talented artists. This is another series that reached its climax this year and also delivered on years of payoff. But with Scalped, it always, like, even though it could get crazily over the top with its violence, it still felt thoroughly grounded in real human emotion and action. It's like with like the story of Dash Badhorse, undercover FBI agent on an Indian reservation. He finally fulfills his mission, and he finally fulfills his mission. He gets Red Crow. Shunka, the Red Crow's gay second man, finally reaches the end of his arc, and it's tragically sad. Red Crow's daughter also finally finds her own path as well, and it's all this crazy payoff, but it also still feels like truly deserved and earned from the journey as well, and it also benefits greatly from Aram Guerra's great expressive, you could almost say crazily over the top art, but it works very well with the story here. And after and even though the story itself, it also manages the neat trick of being having its characters just be they go to some really dark depressing places, and then once they get there, Aaron throws them a shovel to dig them even further down. It never becomes a grind or depressing to read. I mean, there's always a crazy joy at the heart of it, just to say what's going to happen next. I mean, it always felt true to the characters, and that's what I love about it. That also can be said of my number 1 pick of the year, and it was tough trying to think of one that really impressed me the most. But in the end, this is another series that wrapped up, and I just kept coming back to this. I mean, its characters, its political relevance, and its ending. It's the most perfect ending for a series that I've seen in quite some time. The one that because its main character, he had a message he wanted to say, but in order to make this message work, he had to take the fall for all the things he'd done, even some of the things he didn't. Talking about Matty Roth in Brian Wood and Ricardo Bercelli's DMZ. It's the story of the Second American Civil War, and the 2 volumes we that wrapped it up here both showed you how Matty thoroughly in disgrace after his efforts to try to be a player in the failed regime of Manhattan Governor Parco Delgado. Now with a new remit to investigate, to cover the conflict for Liberty News, Matty finally finds himself in it with a chance to not only just redeem himself, but end the war. Now that he manages to pull this off, and that it's not that just he manages to pull this off, but after years of just Matty, being dumb, just seemed like for years. I mean, when I just read the series, I mean, Matty, he's not the brightest brightest bulb out there. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed either. But so when he finally decided, I'm going to step up and become a player, it's like, oh god, he's gonna fuck this up big time, and fuck it up he did. But even then, but looking back, seeing it all together, that was all Wood had this planned out, and it was gutsy of him to try and make the character, unlikable or not someone you could really want to get behind as a character. But in the end, you see him, you see all the growth that the transformation Matty goes through over the years. It's from earnest reporter to not quite great investigator to failed political player to repentant journalist. And eventually someone who finally gets what he needs to do in order to So in order to truly make a difference, I mean, like that final volume, when you find out there's what is in store for him, and it's like, wow, it's like, it's like I understand why he did the things he did at the end, because like he wanted to he needed to have his story about the demilitarized zone of Manhattan told, but in order to make that happen, he needed to it's like he couldn't just just get a free ticket out of here. He actually had to get people to look at him and say, he got a bum rap, instead of just being, oh, you're a criminal who got off scot-free. It was never going to be, oh, he's free and in the clear. It was either going to be one thing or the other. But in order to make his message heard, he had to choose the hard thing. And that's what really got me in the end about DMC. Highly recommended. That's why I continue to look forward to just about anything that Wood does in the future. So, but that's the best right there. What about the worst? Well, thankfully, it's like my instincts generally lead me to this is bragging, but lead me to fewer things that that I dislike, that I just generally don't flat out hate. That doesn't work all the time, unfortunately, and that's the case in stuff like Attack on Titan, which I talk about the editorial process in Bakuman and how it's ultimately it's like it can be a pain to work with an editor at times, but sometimes they can keep you from keep you on track, make sure you release the best work possible. Attack on Titan seems to be a work that circumvented the editorial process entirely, and just it's got really bad art for the first volume, for the first two volumes, some questionable storytelling choices. It's and a cast of characters that I generally don't care too much for. It's I thought that its story of a giants attacking a medieval-esque world was going to be different from Kodansha's usual stuff, that they're aiming at kids and all. But no, this one probably is. You really have to be a kid with even dubious taste to appreciate this. And also read lots of Star Wars comics over the year, most of which I really enjoyed. Most of them coming from John Ostrander as well, as Star Wars Legacy wrapped up this year and delivered two solid new starts to series of miniseries with Agent of the Empire and Dawn of the Jedi. However, this year also saw the final chapter in Mike Richardson and Randy Stradley's, both founders of Dark Horse and the publisher and chief creative officer, respectively, and Paul Gulacy's, the artist, Crimson Empire series, which supposedly been in the works for years. I just given up hope on seeing it completed. Having read the final product, it would have just stayed gone. It's as far as I'm concerned, just a terribly written series. It's with some really below par, overcolored art that just seemed to take joy in jumping into the most cliched and situations with abandon. I mean, you get the feeling that they're just having a joke at our expense. When the people perpetrating this joke are the people who run the company, you just get the feeling that they're just say, hey, we can do this, we can get away with this because we run the company, we can do whatever the hell we want. And good God, this is that's the downside of this happening. But however, as far as the absolute worst thing I read this year, that's easy to pick. It's still Invincible Iron Man Volume 8, Unfixable, in which Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, makes Tony Stark his bitch. I mean, good God, it's it's a huge black mark for Tony's character. It's hey, Tony, you remember the time that Otto Octavius really put one over on you and made you kiss his tentacles and call him master? Yeah, we're going to be talking about this story for years. In fact, no, we're not. It's never going to be. Matt Fraction hasn't brought it up in the rest of his run so far, and no one else has mentioned it in the Marvel universe as well. In fact, this is one of those stories that people are just going to never talk about again because it just goes against everything you want to see from the character, and it's just good God, I mean, who thought this was a good idea in the first place? I mean, when this story rolled around, it just kind of like killed like a lot of momentum and appreciation I had for Action's Iron Man run, like stone dead. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, like, I'm amazed that he and artist Salvador LaRocca have managed to crawl up from this like dire story arc with their two most recent volumes to the point where I'm actually starting to look forward to the series again. That's impressive. It doesn't change the fact that this shouldn't have happened in the first place. Can't imagine what Marvel editorial was thinking about when they just when they let him get away with this. I mean, geez. I mean, yeah, we know they're that Fraction and LaRocca have a team that's been working well together for years. That just doesn't mean just rubber stamp whatever the hell they do. Good God. Oh, well. Anyway, a couple more things. Favorite new character of the year? That'd be Lucky Abrams from Blood Blockade Battlefront. Because, he's a guy who's been cursed and cursed and cursed and cursed some more, like in his quest to get, root out the baddies in New Jerusalem. But he's been cursed to the point where, the curses stop working against him. Like, they all cancel each other out, and they'll just attract all sorts of carnage to the people around him. Like, he's the kind of guy who when you get like this giant like chthonic-esque monster just like flying right towards him, it'll like fly right around him and hit the bus right next to him. So he's a fun character, and I certainly hope Dark Horse publishes more volumes of the series. We've got 3 so far, but 3 is like the point when Dark Horse starts canceling their series that aren't selling well. Love to see more, but we'll see. Also, probably my favorite single issue of the year was Nyctomorph from Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated, drawn by Chris Burnham. It showed you his Morrison's approach to Batman Incorporated as Batman as a franchise, as a worldwide franchise in general, and it was truly spectacular. And just the way it showed all the Batman outlining his plan. It's like his plans for all of his people worldwide, setting up Dick and Damian in Gotham, and also just doing a nice little trick on the some of the guys in the opening sequence. It was just like one of those things where you're like, wow, I'm just amazed that Morrison was able to not only just cram all this information into a single issue, but also just do it seamlessly and effectively. It didn't feel rushed, didn't feel out of place. It was just like a thrilling read from beginning to end. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing the conclusion of his Batman run next this year. So, that note, well, we've reached the end, and that's what I thought about 2012. Certainly, any year where I have to whittle down a list in order to get my picks, or in this case, actually just I actually was able this year I was able to think of, hey, this is what my favorite series was. So I'm looking forward. So I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to finally reading the conclusion of 21st Century Boys. Look forward to maybe we'll see the end of Bakuman as well. We've also got lots of other new series as well. It's hey, this could be the year that series I thought were going to be the best of the year, like Saga and Fatale, that they really come into their own and show me hey, this is why you should have included them on the list this year. Because make no mistake, I like them, but they didn't give me the shock that even though Image continues to be deliver all the crazy new stuff. Manhattan Projects was my pick, was my favorite of all the great new Image stuff. Any thoughts, John?
Lots of thoughts. After that pregnant pause.
Yes.
Yes, lots of thoughts. No, a good summation of a lot of the stuff that you read last year. It's very cool. I am looking forward to actually seeing what comes out this year, not just in the comic book, but in comic book movies.
Yeah, because we got Iron Man 3.
Yep.
We've got I think Thor, like the second Thor 2 is coming out later
Okay.
this year as well. From Wells.
Yeah, well, I mean, those things. Well, actually, and then this is not technically a comic book movie, but Star Trek is coming out, and I really want to see that one. A lot of hush hush on this one as well.
Yeah, because that's how J. Abrams rolls, and I'm just like, yeah, he's just like, yeah, he just ripped up the fanboys and doing friends by doing absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm not falling for it, man. I'm not that much of a fanboy of Star Trek. But I will tell you something about it. I really haven't. I mean, somebody said, "Oh, they came out with the thing," and I read a couple of things, like a couple of items on it, and I was just like, who cares? Whatever. When it gets here, we'll watch it. But I'm not gonna feed into the. I'm not gonna feed my own hype up because, hey, what if it's not that great? You know. But wait a second, J.J. Abrams can do no wrong. I'm like, of course he can. He's human.
Yes, yep, and I guess on that note, it's like, yes, there's gonna be lots of great stuff coming in the year. It's like, hey, in our fifth anniversary for the podcast as well.
Man, we are going on a roll here. This is great. 5 years, fellas. This is quite an accomplishment. Maybe we'll have to do a few extra special podcasts. When we come down to the wire here, but maybe some changes will be coming soon. Who knows? All in store. We're still in January, so we can look down 2013. But good enough. And with that, is that all you have for us tonight, sir?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Um, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later.
All right. Bye.